Hey guys, what's going on? Trey Lewellen here with another wonderful episodes of Commerce Kings podcast with the one and only Russell Brunson.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Dude, so, hey man, we only got like 25 minutes here, so we're going to do like rapid fire for 25 minutes. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds awesome.
So you're the owner of ClickFunnels. I think everybody knows that. If you don't, you're under a rock. Dude, I just want to start asking like, how did you build ClickFunnels up to 52,000 members now?
I think we're at 55,000, so keep rising.
Sorry, I should have said 60.
My bad.
My bad. I love when it comes in. So, dude, what would you say is the secret to building a rapid fan base of people who are just willing to pay you money every single month?
You know what? There's a lot of little things, so it's hard to say like this is the one thing. But the biggest thing, when I and I think you've heard me tell this story before, but before we launched ClickFunnels, I was in this network marketing company, and I remember they had a big convention, and the company, I'm not gonna talk about what it was, but they're selling software. And I'm at their big national convention because I want to see like how they do their thing, right? And there's like 6,000 people in this room, and everyone's like crying and on stage talking and all these things. And they never, like, this entire event, they didn't teach anything ever. They didn't do anything. They were just people like telling their stories of how they use the software and how it changed their life. And I was like so confused. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I just perplexed, right? And I'm sitting next to my friend, and I don't know if you know David Fry. I sit next to David Fry, and he leans over to me and says, you know what they've done, right? And I'm like, no, I'm so confused. I have no idea why everyone's crying. Like, this is software. And he's like, they're not selling software. It's like they've created a movement. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it took me a while for that to sink in my head, like how powerful it was. But I was thinking, like, in this company, like, most people spent more money on the plane tickets and hotel to get there than they'd ever made inside the company. But they were all bought into this movement and they were part of it. And I was like, okay, that's powerful. Cause like when we were launching ClickFunnels, ClickFunnels, if you look at it from the outside, like, it's a software company. We sell it's a website builder. Like, there's a lot of them out there. There's Wix, there's, like Squares, whatever. Like, there's like it's not that exciting in and of itself. And as we're creating this, I'm like, I didn't want to create a software, like a website builder. Like, that's boring. Like, I want to create a movement of people and entrepreneurs and like, how do we do that? And so that was the question in my head as we were launching these things. How do we create a movement of people? And how do we get them bought in? How do we make it so that when I think we're like 37 now ClickFunnels killers have been launched since we launched ClickFunnels. Like, every other week there's the next ClickFunnels killer. Like, how do we make it so that our customers, when they see that, they don't even like acknowledge it. They just dismiss it because they're part of this movement and part of what we were doing. And so while Todd and the geniuses were building the best software in the world, I was figuring out how do we create a movement that gets people, so it's not just a commodity, just a product, but it's part of people's lives. It's part of who they are and who they become. And that was our focus. There's a lot of things we've done, but it was that's the core, man, is building a movement as opposed to selling a product.
So how do you build a movement?
How deep you want me to go?
We're here for 20 minutes. Let's go deep.
For those who've read the Expert Seekers book, that's the premise of that book is all about that. So you can go deep into that. But the big pieces in any movement, if you study like history of movements and from the positive side to like the negative side, like cults to politics or somewhere in the middle to religion to everything in between, like there's some common themes among all of them. One of them is that there's there's some kind of like person that people can connect with, right? That they can personally have, they can bond with, right? It's hard to bond with a brand. Like, people, like, as much as people love the little apple on the back of our phones, like, most people don't bond with an apple, right? Like, they bond with like this dude, Steve Jobs, and his turtleneck, like showing these things. Like, they bond with that because like there's this visionary and they want to be part of it. I remember Jay Abraham said one time, he said that the people are silently begging to be led. They want to find something to plug into. And so if you want somebody, like, if you want to start a movement, like, you got to be that one willing to stand up and let people plug into you. And that's the first piece of it, because that's how they identify. They identify with the human, not with the brand. Then the brand becomes part of that, right?
Why did you decide for that to be you versus someone else?
I think I had a huge ego, maybe. I don't know. It's just, I was the one that was so excited. I tried to get Todd on camera. His wife keeps trying to get him on camera too. He's like, I don't want to do that. We're like, no, put you on camera. So I think, every business, there's different roles, right? There's a Wozniak and a Jobs, and I had to take on the role of Jobs because I don't know how to code. So
there you go. All right. Fair enough. I'm just looking at like our membership areas, and then I'm as you're going through this, I'm stringing, like, I'm putting building blocks. And that was the biggest thing. Like, I wanted to have this episode with you to learn from you of how you've done it so well, because it's amazing. So you build an avatar, you build, I don't know if you'd say that. What would you say? Like a what would you even call that person? Basically a hero?
Hero's a good one. Attractive character, charismatic leader. I mean, there's a lot of different terms for it, but somebody that people can connect with, right? It's all about connection in today's economy, and especially online. Like, I think even like I got started 10 years ago, it wasn't about connection. It was about like the cheapest deals. But nowadays it's like the society we're in, like people are craving. That's why social media is so big. We're trying to like have a connection, and we have like lack of connection because of social media. And so like people are looking like, who can listen to, who can I follow, who can I connect with, who can I listen to in bed at night on my podcast, like to connect to somebody or to something. And like, people are looking for that. So, it's not that hard. You just got to make sure that it's interesting and engaging and exciting for people. If they do, like, they'll plug in and they'll stay there.
You're every day at the elliptical. That's where you're at with me. I'm like watching some Russell Brunson on the elliptical for about 20 minutes. You have 2 episodes. Each one's about 10 minutes. I get 2 in every morning. That's just listening. It's cool. It works.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. So so think of me next time you're doing a.
This is for Trey.
For Trey. He's on the elliptical right now. What up, dude? Kill it. Push up resistance.
Yeah, so let's crank up the.
You got the hero going. So that was you. So what was like the first thing maybe you tried of making you the hero? Like, how did you say, today I will become the hero for my ClickFunnels peeps, and this is how we're going to do it?
Yeah. So when we first launched ClickFunnels, this is my first time launching like a SaaS company, right? Like, I did marketing stuff for a long time. I sold a lot of potato gun plans and other things that are very important. But it's my first time doing like a SaaS company. So I was like, okay, I'm going to look at all the other SaaS companies and see what they do. So we're looking at all these like SaaS style websites. So I'm like, okay, these guys must know something because there's tons of them and they all look the same. And so we launched our first, the first version of ClickFunnels, and I just modeled like the SaaS model. Turns out none of those SaaS dudes have any idea what they're doing, which is the reason why we're passing past them all. Like, those long form sales, there's tons of pictures and images, like they don't actually work. Like, you got to actually, so I was trying to sell like SaaS, like the way SaaS is. So like, here's our software, here's all the features and the benefits, and here's like all the million different things. It's like the first version, we launched that and it bombed. The second version was another variation, it bombed and it bombed and it bombed. It wasn't until like 2.5 months, almost 3 months into after we launched ClickFunnels, when we were like about to walk away, because we're like, nobody was going to buy this thing. I got asked to speak by Mike Philsame, who's been a friend for a decade, to speak at this event. And he's like, I need you to come and sell ClickFunnels to my people. And I'm like, dude, no one's buying ClickFunnels. He's like, well, you need to sell it. And it's got to be at least $1,000 or something. And I was like, dude, it's a free trial. I can't get people to sign up for it. He's like, I got you on the speaker list. Like, the page is being promoted. Like, you got to come speak. And I was like, dang it. And so he was also streaming the event live online. So it was, I think I was supposed to speak on Friday or on Saturday. And it was a Thursday. I was still at my office because I hadn't flown there yet. And I'm watching this presentation. I'm watching people speak streaming on stage. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Like, how am I going to sell this ClickFunnels thing? Like, I was like, I don't think any of these people here even understand what a funnel is. So I was like, okay, I gotta like explain my story. And at the time, we just sold our supplement company, and we had a really good story about that funnel and everything. And so I started making my slides, and I told that story about Neurocell and how we did it and how we grew it. And I just told that whole story and explained how the funnel will work and how we had funnel hacked somebody else and we modeled it. And then, so I just kind of told that story and made the slides. Next day I jump on a plane. I fly out there to California. I get there. We had this little tiny booth, and it was funny, like looking back, we had our booth and Lead Page's booth was right across the hallway from us. And so like, people were going back and forth, and like, anyway, it was the funniest thing in the world. And so I got on stage and I was scared and I was nervous, and I gave my little presentation. We did a little demo from the side. And then I made an offer for $1,000 to get ClickFunnels plus training on how to use it. And we had the biggest table. I mean, it was a smaller room, but we signed up like 35% of the room, like was jumping over the table, running the back to buy. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's the message. Like, it's not that we've got this feature and this feature and this feature and this feature. It's like, let me tell you my story, how we use this. And then when they saw that and they caught the vision, then they were all in. And so I just, after that point, for the next 12 months, I told that story live on a webinar at least once, and usually 4 or 5 times a week, every single week for an entire year, over and over and over. And like, I could literally give you that entire presentation without slides, word for word, verbatim. I've done it so many times. But that built the movement. That got people bought into the cause and understanding what we were doing, why we were doing it, and how funnels work and funnel strategy. And they saw the vision, then they jumped in, and that's how the whole thing kind of got started.
So you mentioned Jay Abraham. People are secretly wanting to be led. Totally love that. I love all his books. Mm-hmm. So another cool thing with Jay is he talks about quantum leaps. He talks about breakthroughs. And so how have you managed to keep pushing through breakthroughs. So like you're doing the webinar. So basically you have the webinar, you're gaining members, but then you get to a point where the webinars aren't enough to get to the next level, right? Like, let's just say, I don't know, the webinar gave you 5,000 members or 10,000 members. And then you get to that cusp and you're like, hey, we just can't break 10K. Then did you start bringing in affiliates? Is that when the car kind of came along and that's where it took you to the next level? Like, can you walk me through those quantum leaps?
Yeah, great question. So initially, yeah, it was us and our efforts, right? So me and Zuckerberg were driving the company initially, but yeah, after a while, like in Facebook, I had a friend who was a big Vince James. We talked to him before, me and you. But he always told me he's like the internet's like having a Ferrari on a dead end road. Like you order really fast and then you like run out of roadway really really quick. And we found that with Zuckerberg, right? Like eventually, like you fish all the people out of that pond and it starts getting diminishing returns. And so that's probably the first 2 or 3 months was us and Zuckerberg. And then Facebook started slowing down. So then it was like, okay, then we switched to affiliates. And then again, Jay Bram, what he's famous for is like looking at other industries and like taking ideas from other industries and bringing them to yours. So I was like, okay, how do we get affiliates engaged in this thing? And I was like, well, what do network marketers do? Like that's the biggest, best affiliate programs in the world. You look at every network marketing company, like they all have a car program, every one of them. So I was like, we're launching a car program. And everyone's like, what? Why would you do that? I'm like, I don't know, because they do it and they're killing it. So let's do a car program. And I think we've given away like 30 something cars now to affiliates. And so that was a big, huge, a big thing that got to the next level. And that was, where all those webinars started coming from was me doing webinars. Like I had 3 or 4 days where I did 3 in a row. Where I did 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 at night, which you've done webinars, like it beats you up. So 3 in a day, I was like, yeah. But like, that's what we needed to do. I had one where it was like 4 in the morning, my time doing it in Australia. And I get on the webinar and there's like 4 people on. I was like, are you kidding me? But I, did it again and just kept the grind. And then for me, what I think what's interesting is that the reason why most companies don't keep scaling is because the entrepreneur gets bored and they offer me to work, but we're like, what's the next thing I need to do? And like, I'm that way. Like if you follow me for the last decade and a half of my career, it's like, we launched something, have much success. Like the next thing. Cause like our ADD just keeps us moving. Right. Mm-hmm. And as ClickFunnels started to get that point, I was like, okay, I'm ready for the next thing. And my team's like, you have to keep focusing. Like this is, like we have something great here. And I was like, we do. And I'm like, how, but I'm going to go crazy as the entrepreneur. Like I gotta, and so I started thinking and for me, like the next phase of the business, in fact, can I show you guys something?
Sure. I love it. Can we show us something? Of course. Everyone's like, yes.
This is my, board that I sketched my inner circle group and I turned to a board. I don't know if you can see it. Like from going from $0 to $1 million, this is like, we call the what and the how, figure out like what it is you're selling, how you're selling. So this is my webinar, right? And we got, this took actually us about 8 figures here, but then it was like to get the next level. Then it comes back to J. Abraham 101. There's 3 ways to grow a company, right? Get more customers, get them to buy more, get them to spend more. So I look at that in the funnel world. It's like, okay, the acquisition funnels to get more customers, ascension funnels to get them to spend more, and monetization funnels to get them to buy more often. So I'm like, hey, so for me, the second phase for this is like me as the entrepreneur, I have to shift my creativity from launching a new company every 5 minutes like we want to do. It's like, what are the front end funnels I can do to bring new customers in? And so that was kind of my next phase was like, okay, ClickFunnels is working, but like we're getting diminishing return on webinars because like you said, we tapped out all kind of stuff. So I'm like, hey, how do we bring new people in? And for me, it's like, hey, what are the front end funnels we need to create? And so that's like when I started writing the books, right? .com Secrets was the first book. And it was just like a Trojan horse to get this funnel idea out to more and more people and then get them to come to ClickFunnels. That worked really good. And then fast forward a year later, after I swore I would never write a book again, I was sitting in a mastermind. It was the night before a mastermind meeting. I'm sitting across the table from Dean Graziosi, which if you know Dean, he's like the infomercial king. And I'm sitting there and I don't know what we're talking about, but I'm sitting there. All of a sudden I had this like revelation that was like, you've got to write a book called Expert Secrets. It's going to convince people they're experts so that they can get funnels. So they come to ClickFunnels. I was like, I'm never writing a book again. This is my conversation we had. I'm like, I'm never writing a book again. They're like, yes, you are. I'm like, crap. And it was like, and I bought the domain name Expert Secrets like a year earlier. It's like, that's the name of the book. And so like we wrote this book because this is the front end that goes out there that someone who doesn't know about funnels, but they're like, I'm really good at this thing, or I've got an idea, or I've got like this book goes out there and it's like bait to go grab that person and be like, hey, you're right. You do have talents and abilities. So let's turn that into a business. And then by the way, this is the vehicle you need to be able to turn those ideas into something. And so for me as the entrepreneur, like my creativity right now is like, what are the different front ends I can create to bring people in that gets them into a business so that ClickFunnels actually matters. Like if I talk to nine people out of 10, like they don't even know what funnels are. They don't know why they would even need it. So I have to like get them into a business first so that then they need it, right? So I'm creating desire through through my front end offers to bring people in. And so that's kind of the phase that we're in right now is really doing that, creating desire through front end offers that make people now need and want the thing that we're selling.
The breakthrough advertising goes to that a lot, talking about, do they know what the problem is? If not, do they know that it exists? If not, what point are they at? And it sounds like you're in the middle point of showing them, hey, you got to have a business, and then you need this thing called funnels because you don't have it. That's a pretty, so making a triangle inside, maybe with one of your triangles, as we kind of are finishing up here, is you have affiliates, you have your hero, and then you have your .com secrets and your expert secrets that have helped not only create the movement, but made people like believe in the movement. And so with the like, I love both of those books. They're fantastic written books. Like, you did an excellent job. I read those books. I'm like, man, if there's ever a day that I could read or write like this, it'd be pretty sweet. So congrats to you for being able to do that. So I think it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways, is you work hard. Like, you're hustling, man. Like, you got this massive hustle for the ClickFunnels. You're building funnels, you're promoting funnels, you're traveling to events, you're writing books. I mean, it's amazing to just, be a part of that and watch you grow and how much you're doing. And you get that all the time. Like, I don't need to put you on a soapbox by any means, but it's cool to be, on the sidelines and watching what you guys are growing, and it shows what's possible. And I love taking those same concepts, those same ideas, as you always say, model what works, and then putting it into a different business, that we're working on, and saying, okay, who's our attractive character? Who, like, I don't know what books I'd be writing against guns and ammunition, but I think I'm more the Todd Brown, and then Bryce will probably be more the attractive character. And so it's interesting working with those dynamics as well. So what's next? So you've gotten it to 50,000. Now how do we burst through 100K? Like, I know that's the goal, right?
That's the goal. Yeah. For next year to pass 100,000 members. So that's a good question. So it's funny, like this last year, actually, so yesterday Dave was on a call. We get VCs to call us all the time, which is fun, and we entertain it because it's like it makes you feel good, right? It's like if you're like the hottest girl in the room and someone asks you on a date, you may say no, but you still want them to ask you because you're like, oh, cool. So, but one of the things the VC guy said, you are the fastest growing company we ever watched. And second, he said, he's like, and you're the only company we ever talked to that, like, you always talk about what you're going to do, and then you actually hit the goals. Mm-hmm. And so, this year I was like, for us to double, if we were at 30,000, we were at 23,000 last year, whatever it was at the end of the year. So we were going to double to 50. And everyone's like, dang, is that even possible? I'm like, I don't know. But I got like 5 things we're going to try. So at the beginning of January, I had like, okay, I'm going to launch a book called Expert Secrets. That's one like shot I'm going to try. And I was like, the Harmon brothers trying to do a viral video with them. That's going to be another shot we're going to try. And then we're going to try. And I had like, I can't remember what they all were. I had 4 or 5 things I thought independently, each one could probably get us there. But I was like, if I can do them all, and if I get 2 to hit, like, we should get there. And so, we had probably 2 or 3 of those things that hit at different levels, and we got there. So for the next year, it's like same question. In fact, we have our big planning meeting in like 2 weeks where Todd and everyone's flying here. We're going to go to a cabin and talk for 2 days. And that's the goal, is like, how do we get there? And I've got 3 or 4 strategies. Like, one of them is like finding partners in 5 or 6 countries to like transcribe these books into these different languages and get these guys as partners, and replicating in different countries is like one strategy. We have a couple other fun things up our sleeve. We have some big front end traffic things we're doing. I mean, there's just a lot of 4 or 5 strategies we're going to try to do, and we're going to try all of them. And hopefully if 1 or 2 hits, we'll be fine. If not, then we got to figure out something else, but we'll call an audible in December or October and figure out the next thing, but we'll hit it. There's too many smart people and too much fun we're having to not do it.
So so I don't know. Here's a quantum leap that we're working on with our own stuff, and who knows, maybe we'll intersect into your 2-week meeting. But it is to have other companies who already have members of some sort of organization, such as Sam's Club or Costco, or for your instance, like MLMs, and then for them to append ClickFunnels as a benefit that when you join our MLM, not only you're going to get this, and this, but we're also going to attach this cool thing called ClickFunnels, which allows you to build your own website, do your own things, and kind of promote this MLM. And then basically on the back end, they're paying you a percentage, right, for those members. So basically, if you were charging $100, maybe you give it to them for $50. And just because of sheer numbers, you instantly gain like 10,000 people overnight, right? And so that's how I'm looking at quantum leaps, is how do we partner? You kind of said partner with the book of like, how do we partner with people who already have this tribe out of this organization and append? I don't know if that's something that ClickFunnels
It's smart. One thing I add that this good Jay. We talked about Jay Brown a lot today. I remember him saying something like, "Hey Jay, where are you at, man?" I remember he said something one time. He talked about. He said, "Look at like the lifeline of your. I can't remember his exact words, like the lifeline of a lead, right? And you're like your customer's like right here. So he's like, who are all the people that are talking to your customer before they get to you, and who are the people afterwards?
Yes.
Like that's where you find the partnerships. Like, hey, they're gonna need me after this point. Like we were talking about this. Like GoDaddy. Like imagine GoDaddy. They got rid of their horrible website builder. Like everyone gets a domain. Like we plug into like overnight, right? Or like something in there. And then on the backside is like, hey, they have ClickFunnels. What are the other pieces they need? They need these other things. So it's like finding the partnerships on both sides of that to integrate. So I haven't thought about that in years. So that actually is really cool. I appreciate you bringing that up. It gives me something fun to plot and scheme about.
we do the same thing with oil. So what do they buy before the oil? They buy guns and ammunition. What do they buy after the oil? They buy they have to clean it, right? They have to clean their gun. And so can you create something on the front and can you create something on the back, such as could we create a premium plan where you just ship your gun in and we clean it, right? So I love that example. I've been reading all his books. So me and you are like on the same track right now. And big news is I get to meet with Jay on Monday. So we're flying down to go see him for like 4 hours. So that's going to be sweet. So
very cool.
Dude, amazing as always. So this is exactly what I needed, what I wanted from the Russell-B. So man, I hope you're doing well. I hope the family's well. I hope your team's well. I need to come up for another visit and just say hi and look at all the gold awards that are hanging in your
we got 22 ones that came in yesterday, 22 in the last 30 days. And the month before we had like 17. So it's like almost a person a day hitting Two Comma Club. And you know what? Like
over $1 million, right? Over $1 million in sales.
Over $1 million in a funnel, which is cool because you still hold the record for the #1 highest grossing funnel of all time. People are gunning for you, man. But you're the one that set that high bar and everyone's like chasing it. So I appreciate, man, you've been such a good, I don't even know what you call it, spokesmodel person, like case study, like success story, like just person doing it. And I just appreciate that because it gives other people belief and hope in it. And then when they believe it, then they can do it. That's, as you know, it's the same thing. Like it's not that hard. You just have to believe you can do it. As soon as you do, then it happens. And so I think people see people like me and you, and they're like, if Trey and Russell can do it, man, I'm in.
Right? Like I'm not. You should see my ACT score. It is everybody would believe anything after they see that. I took it 2 times, same score. So all right, man. Hey, appreciate you. Have a great day. See you guys. Thanks for watching Conference Kings. We'll catch you on the next one.